Hello, everybody. My name is Michaela Shernick, and I am your student Ceramics 1 teacher this year in room C107. I am really sorry I could not be there to meet you all in person. I had some childcare timing conflict issues, and so I'm recording this video so that you get all the information that I would have given you in person. So to start here on the screen, this is my name and my email. That's the best email to contact me at if you need anything or you have any questions. And then over on the left-hand side of the screen here, this is the schedule for this evening in case you didn't already have it. This is my teaching schedule for this year. This is also available in Schoology. And I'm going to kind of speed run some of my background information. So I'm from Florida. I was born in Pensacola along the Gulf Coast and grew up in the Upper Panhandle. I moved to Virginia with my family when I was in high school. So we moved originally to the Harrisonburg area and then up to Winchester, Virginia. This is my family now. So this is my husband, Charlie. He is also a teacher. He teaches at Lake Braddock Secondary School. And it's primarily the reason I can't be here with you guys tonight. We just so happened this year to have back to school night on the same night and at the same time. But anyway, this is our son. His name is Augie. And then I'm kind of covering it. But this is our dog, Daphne, right up here. These are some of my hobbies and interests. Really, these days, I just like to do anything that will help me unwind and de-stress day to day and over the weekends. I went to George Mason University for school. I got my BFA in graphic design and my master's in art education. This is my teaching background. So I started teaching while I was in grad school through Mason Community Arts Academy. Up until last year when I started working for Fairfax County. I was split between Thomas Jefferson and Marshall last year. And this year I'm full-time at Marshall, which is amazing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for that. I teach mostly photography, but then I do also teach one section of ceramics here. So in Ceramics 1, let me move myself. In Ceramics 1, we really cover the foundational sort of hand building skills. We do allow students to learn how to throw on the wheel later in the year if that's something that they have time for. They'll have an opportunity to learn that as well. There is a $75 art fee for this course. If you want to see the breakdown of this fee, and how that applies specifically to your student, that's available in the course syllabus, which is in Schoology. You can pay this fee through My School Bucks. It may or may not be loaded yet. It does take 2 or 3 weeks after the first day of school for those fees to start loading into My School Bucks, and that's just because of all of the schedule changes that happen at the beginning of the year. I do like to mention that if your child is on free or reduced lunch, this fee could be waived. So to do that, you need to make sure that you have applied for that for this school year. And if you haven't or you need it, there is a link here in this slideshow that'll take you to the website to do that. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me and talk to me, or you can speak with your child's counselor. So for my class, one thing that I really emphasize with students and something that's really important to me is how we continuously build and maintain our classroom community. So I strive to create a welcoming and supportive environment where each and every one of my students feel safe, respected, and successful. And I really emphasize with kids at the beginning of the year that this is not a me thing, it's a we thing, and we all have to sort of work together to make this happen. So with that, there are some expectations. These are the ones that I cover at the very beginning of the year. So first and foremost, respect for yourself, for others, for the equipment and materials that we use, for the space that we're in. I expect students to arrive on time and try their best each and every day with whatever that looks like for that day is what I tell them. To be a team player, help each other. Also that there are no food and drinks allowed when kids are working with clay and they have clay on their hands. I really emphasize with them that they cannot eat after having, just having a bunch of clay on their hands. It's not good. So our class period is right before lunch, and we have D-lunch, which is the last lunch period. So I know that kids are going to get hungry. So I do allow them to have snacks, just not near the clay. And then they're not also allowed to bring in any food with nuts for those with nut allergies to keep them safe. So for Schoology, this is what their Schoology page looks like. And what you would see too if you log into it. On the right-hand side, there are a section for upcoming due dates for homework and assignments that I'll load in there, so it goes to their calendar. We don't have any just yet. This is a link to their student folders where they will store the photographs of their artwork. This is where the syllabus is and where I will also post this video later. My teaching schedule's in there too. And then this is a link to our daily agenda. So when they click on that, it'll take them to this page. They'll click on today's date. And this, by the way, is just an overview of the entire quarter one. And then when they click on today's date, so this is an example from today. This is what we did today. There's a link to the slideshow that we saw, or that I showed. So they can come back to this if they need or want to. And they can also, if they're gone or absent, they can go back in through this agenda and just click on any day and see what we did. For the assignments and projects, I organize things in Schoology by quarter. So I'll have a quarter one folder, and the first folder in there will be our first sort of unit or project that we're working on. And in here, I'll put links to slideshows that we covered that relates to that project. And then if I'm having kids submit anything through Schoology, it'll also be here. So things like, planning, mood boards, stuff like that, you'll see here. We do have a new phone policy here at Marshall. So phones are expected to be away at all times during the school day. There is a camera in class that students can and will be using to document their work. But if kids want to use reference images from home, they will need to upload those to their drive or to their computer before they come to school. So for grading, in ceramics, we do skills-based grading, which is a little different. It's very similar, but we are essentially grading them for the skills that they're building in ceramics throughout the year. So I'll break it down as it goes. So for formative, those are the things like research, their studio practice, so sketchbook prompts, classroom procedures, things like that. Their creativity, originality. There's also a homework element this year that's a part of this grade. So 10% of that 30 is going to be homework. They can complete homework during return periods as well as at home. And then the summative assignments, so that's for 70% of their grade. And those are all of the skills that we're going to be grading throughout the year. So pinch building, slab, coil, welding, handles, craft, glazing, reflections, and digital portfolios. All of those are going to be built up throughout the year. So this is what you will see in your parent view. So the final skills-based grade, these roll over throughout the year, and they will change based on the degree to which your student has mastered each skill. So ideally, a student at the end of the year would be at an A, and that's our goal for them. They may start at the beginning of the year, like if you see this example, they might have at the beginning of the year for their pinch building a C. But that is okay. That is expected. It's something that many of them have never done before. And throughout the year, they're going to continue building on that skill. And most kids at the end of the year, they have a high B or an A for those skills. So if you see a C or things like that, don't be alarmed, especially here at the beginning of the year as we're still developing and building each of those skills. You also might see this NFG, or not for grading. That is so that your kids know and or you can keep track of assignments and things that are contributing to this this final skill grade. So if a student does not complete an assignment, that is going to affect ultimately their overall skill grade. So with the not for grading, they can see what is incomplete and see what they need to do. This is an example of like what you would see on your end. These are all of the skills. And then this is an example of like a formative studio practice grade. So some other grading codes you might see is a not turned in. So all formative and summative assignments must be turned in by their due date. They do have till the end of the quarter to submit these assignments. If they do not make an attempt on summative assignments, that NTI, not turned in, will turn into a no longer accepted. But as long as a student makes an attempt, they will be able to remediate and fix that grade later in the year. You might also see a late. So if work is submitted late, there is a penalty of 10%. And then you also might see excuse. So that would be if we were doing some kind of in-class activity that we're only doing that day and they just weren't there for it. So you might see that too. We do have a National Art Society here at Marshall. There's also an art club that kids can join our Schoology page to get more information on. We talk about this with kids. So in ceramics, you really have to, it's a trial and error process. So we say that we will fail forward together. You have to make mistakes in order to improve on your skills. And that's very true in ceramics. So we'll continue throughout the year to build all of those skills and really get them to where they want to be. And then this is our last slide. So this is just a picture of some things that we do in the beginning of the year. This is an example of our field trip. So with that, I'm over time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.